Hello everybody, I'm Peter the Booklover, and this is Movie Talk. This is where I talk about the movies that I recently seen, and this is a good one. We're going to talk about Mars Attacks. This is episode 25. Let's talk about this movie. Hello everybody, I'm Peter the Booklover, and I like to watch movies and I like to talk about movies. I mostly talk about books, but on this channel I like to talk about movies as well. And in this episode I'm going to talk about Mars Attacks, a movie from 1996 about an alien invasion. We're going to talk about it in a second, but before I get into the video, I want to thank everybody for being here. You're really wonderful for giving me your time, and I want the audience to know that I really appreciate you being here. So let's get into this. Mars Attacks. This came out in 1996, and let's go over who directed this movie. This was directed by Tim Burton. Now, Tim Burton has a great career. One of the first movies that I want to mention is A Nightmare Before Christmas. Now, he didn't direct this movie, but he produced this movie, and this is a wonderful movie. Now, the first movie that I really know of his was Beetlejuice. That was the first movie that I know that he did. And then after that, he did Batman. Then he did Edward Scissorhands. Then he did Batman Returns. He also did Sleepy Hollow. He did Corpse's Bride. And he did Beetlejuice. Now, he's done other movies as well, but these are the movies that I'm familiar with. Okay, and there's a lot of people in this cast, so let's get into the list of the cast. Now, the main actor, the most popular actor in this list is the guy that plays President James Dale, and he also plays Art Land, and this is Jack Nicholson. Now, he's got a great career. Now, the first movie that I know of, that I've seen him in, his earliest movie that I know of, is Easy Rider. And he was also in Tommy. One of the best movies he was ever in, my favorite movie of his, is The Shining. Excellent movie. He also was the Joker in Batman. He also was in a movie called A Few Good Men. He was also played Hoffa in a movie. There's another great movie of his called About Schmidt. Then he also starred in Anger Management. There's also As Good as It Gets and The Departed. What a great career. Okay, the next actor I'm going to talk about is the guy that plays Donald Kessler. When I filmed this video, I pronounced this name wrong. It's Pierce Brosnan, by Pierce Bronson. Now, this guy's got a pretty good career. He starred in Mrs. Doubtfire, which is a movie that I really enjoyed. He starred in GoldenEye, which is one of my favorite James Bond movies. Dante's Peak. He also starred in Tomorrow Never Dies, and The World Is Not Enough, another James Bond movie, and Die Another Day. And those are the only movies that I know that star Pierce Brosnan. Then after this, we're going to talk about Nathalie Lake. And this is played by Sarah Jessica Parker. Now, I'm familiar with this actress, but the only movie that I really know of hers that I've seen was this, Mars Attacks. Now, the next actress that I'm going to talk about is the one that plays Barbara Land. And this is played by Annette Bening. And she's done some great movies. She also was in a movie called Bugsy, which was a great gangster movie. And she also starred in American Beauty, which is another one of my favorite movies. I enjoy that movie quite a bit. Now, the next character I'm going to talk about is Marcia Dale. This is the president's wife in this movie, and this is played by Glenn Close. Now, the oldest movie that I know of hers was The World According to Garp. I enjoyed that movie, and I have that book, and I plan on reading that pretty soon. She was also in The Big Chill, and I like that movie. She was also in 101 Dalmatians, also the sequel. I don't think I've seen this movie yet, but I do plan on watching it one day. I would love to see this movie because I do love 101 Dalmatians. She also plays the wife of Harrison Ford in Air Force One. So this is the second time she plays the First Lady. And she was also in a movie called Fatal Attraction. And that's a great movie that she's in. And she really plays an over-the-top character in that movie. Now, the next character that I'm going to mention is the guy that plays Rude Gambler. And this is Danny DeVito. This is a famous actor, and he's got a great career. One of his oldest movies is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I love that movie. It's fantastic. And then I also know him as Taxi, being the Boston Taxi. And Louis De Palma was a great role for him, and I love that TV series. He was one of my favorite characters in that TV series. Really great. He also starred in the movie Romancing the Stone and the sequel, Jewel of the Nile. Another great movie that he starred in was Ruthless People. Now, this is a fantastic movie, great comedy. I love it. Another great movie that he was in is Throw Mama from the Train. Oh, I love that movie. That movie is hilarious. I really enjoyed that movie. And also, he was in a movie called War of the Roses, which is another really awesome movie. I really enjoyed that movie about a couple that were fighting with each other and wanted a divorce. And he did a great job in that movie. Batman Returns, he played the Penguin, and he did a great job in that movie. He also starred in Hoffa along with Jack Nicholson. And we also have him in the movie Austin Powers Goldmember, and that's where he plays Mini-Me. You know, it's like a cameo in that movie. And then he was also in Beetlejuice, and that was a very small role for him. Pretty much a cameo, but a great cameo. I really enjoyed that. So, that's Danny DeVito. Now, the next one we're going to play is Press Secretary Jerry Ross. And this is played by Martin Short. And the movie that I've seen him, the first movie that I saw him in, was The Three Amigos. Not one of my favorite movies, but I remember seeing this a long time ago. He was also in Inner Space. I enjoyed that movie. And then he was also in Treasure Planet, which is a movie that I really enjoy. He's a voice actor in that movie, and I really love that movie. That movie wasn't really successful, but I really enjoyed that movie a lot. It's like a modern day version of Treasure Island. Really cool, in my opinion. Then the next character we're going to talk about is Jason Stone. This is played by Michael J. Fox. And I know Michael J. Fox first from the series Family Ties. And he was a great character in Family Ties. And then the next thing that I remember him is Back to the Future. And I love that movie. There's 3 sequels to this, but the only one that I truly like of that series is the original Back to the Future. Great movie. I love that movie. It's fantastic. He also starred in a movie called Teen Wolf. He also starred in a movie called Casualties of War, and that was pretty decent. A little bit more like a drama. Then he was in The Frighteners, and that was a fantastic movie. I really enjoyed that. That's directed by Peter Jackson, and that was a really cool movie about him seeing dead people and kind of was a con artist. And that had some really cool scenes in that movie. I really loved it. Then he also starred in Homeward Bound and the sequels. The only one that I really am familiar with is the first one. And then he also starred in the Stuart Little movies. Now, I love Stuart Little, the first one, and I also love the second one. Both are fantastic movies. I've never seen the third one, and I'm going to tell you, Stuart Little, the movies, are way better than the book. Okay, the next character I'm going to talk about is General Decker, and this is played by Rod Steiger. And this guy actually played Al Capone in a movie called Al Capone. He was also in the movie The Longest Day, which is a great World War II picture. I really love that one. He also starred in a movie called The Heat of the Night with Sidney Poitier, and that was a great movie as well. And he also played the priest in the Amityville Horror. And it's a great scene to where he's trying to bless the house, and then all these flies are attacking him. Really great scene in that movie. One of the best scenes in that movie. Not one of my favorite movies, but I really loved his scene in that. And then we have Tiffany Dale, and this is the daughter of the president, and this is Natalie Portman. Now, she was in 3 Star Wars movies. She was in The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith. She also played in the Thor movies, and she was also in the movie Heat. I don't remember her in Heat, but I remember liking the movie Heat. So I want to rewatch that again and look out for her. That's Natalie Portman. Then next, and I gotta say, this movie has a huge cast, right? A lot of really great actors. Now, the next character that I'm going to talk about is Richie Norris. This is played by Lucas Hans, and this guy played in the movie A Lady in White, and this is kind of like a horror movie, and I really enjoyed that. He also was in a music video by My Chemical Romance called Welcome to My Black Parade, and I really love that music video. It's a great song. I love it. And then he was also in The Revenant, which is a great movie as well. Got some awesome bear attack in that movie. And I don't really remember his character in that movie, but I definitely remember The Revenant. It's a great movie. Then the next one, we're going to have Brian Williams, and this is played by Jim Brown. Now, Jim Brown was in the movie The Running Man, which is a great Arnold Schwarzenegger picture. I really love that. He also did a voice in Small Soldiers, which is a great movie as well. I really loved Small Soldiers. And this guy used to be a football player. He was on the Cleveland Browns. And I don't remember his career as a football player. I think this was before my time. But that's an interesting thing about him. And his performance is Brian Williams, and that has one of the best scenes of the movies, to where he wants to fight the Martians, man to Martian, and it's a fantastic scene. I love the way the Martians, when he wants to fight them, they're all for it. It's a great scene. Then we got the Martian girl, played by Lisa Marie. She was also in the movie Sleepy Hollow, and there's no other movies that I've ever seen her in. She does a great performance in that movie. I love the scene with her in it, being the Martian girl. Fantastic. Then we got Grandma Florence. Now, this one is played by Sylvia Sidney. And she has a huge career, but I only know her in 2 other movies. And that is The Damien, The Omen Part 2. Now, I don't remember her in that movie, but I want to watch that movie again because I love The Omen Part 2. And she was also in Beetlejuice, and I remember her in Beetlejuice. She did a great performance as the Counselor of the Dead. Great performance in that movie. Then the next character we're going to talk about is played by General Casey. And this is played by Paul Winfield. And this guy was in some great movies. He was in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, which is a great movie. He was also in Terminator, which is a fantastic movie, one of my favorites. And then he was also in Cliffhanger, and that is an awesome Sylvester Stallone movie. I really love that movie. Then the next actress we're going to talk about is Louise Williams, and this is played by Pam Grier, and she's been in a lot of movies. Now, she was in Something Wicked This Way Comes. She was also in Above the Law. She was also in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Now, the thing about it is, I don't remember her in that movie, but I remember that I love that movie. That's a fantastic Bill and Ted movie. It's one of my favorites. She was also in Escape from L.A., which is a fantastic Kurt Russell movie. And she was also in Jackie Brown, which is another great movie. I believe that was directed by Quentin Tarantino, and it's great. Although my favorite performance in there was by Robert De Niro. Now, the next character that I'm going to cover is Billy Glenn Norris, and this is played by Jack Black. And the thing about it is, one of the earliest things that he did was being in a commercial for Pitfall 2, and that's pretty interesting. He was in the movie Demolition Man, and actually I knew this because I actually watched the movie and I seen him, and he's in a blink and you miss it kind of scene. He was also in The Cable Guy. He was also in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. He was in another movie called High Fidelity, which is a movie that I kind of enjoyed. That was pretty cool. Saving Silverman, which is an awesome movie. I love that movie. He was in Shallow Hal. That was an interesting movie. I kind of dig that. Orange County is another one he was in, and that's a fantastic movie. I really enjoyed it. He was a voice actor in the movie Ice Age. He was also in a movie called School of Rock, which was a really cool movie. He was in this fantastic movie, King Kong. Oh, Peter Jackson's King Kong was fantastic. He was also in a movie called Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny, which is a fantastic movie. I thought that movie was very funny, and I loved it. He was also in Kung Fu Panda, several movies of Kung Fu Panda. And of course, there's a couple other movies that he was in, but that's the only movies I'm going to cover. And of course, there are more actors in this movie than I've got listed here. Some of them are known from other movies, but I just wanted to cover this pretty long list, right? Now, let me tell you what this movie is about. And I'm going to kind of, not really spoil it, but I'm going to just let you know. This movie is about an alien invasion, and these aliens are nasty. As a matter of fact, I would prefer to be invaded by xenomorphs than these things, because these things are about as wicked as you come. And I'd rather be invaded by these than the Predator, and those guys are invisible and they could kick your ass, but these alien monsters are pretty brutal. And the thing about this movie is that you gotta know that these are evil. See, the whole thing that makes this movie so great is the human beings keep on thinking these aliens are going to be friendly, and they keep on trying to be friends with these aliens that they just want to attack the human beings, and they want to kill everybody. And they're awesome. They're really awesome characters. I really love them. This movie is filled with a lot of fun scenes that are amazing. This is a great Tim Burton movie, and I highly recommend it. This is an awesome movie, and I definitely give it a thumbs up. It's definitely worth your time. Now, if you've watched this and you thought this was like a serious alien invasion movie, and you just like it seems silly to you, watch it again and watch it looking for kind of a comedic element to this, and this movie is fantastic. It's very funny and it's very entertaining. I love it. So that's about it. I can't really say much more about that, but I want to thank you for coming by. If you liked the video, please do me a favor, hit the like button. I would really appreciate it if you did. It means a lot to me. If you can, let me know what you think in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And if you don't want to leave a comment, that's fine as well. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. And I would really appreciate you subscribing to my channel. I work really hard on these videos, so I want you to if you know that if you subscribe to my channel, then I'm really making an effort to make these videos the best I can. And that's about it. I am Peter the Book Lover. I want to thank you for coming by, and I hope I will see you in the next video.